In case you forgot, motherfucker, this ain't your mama's podcast. It's the Chico de Manuel Show. Let's get it. Welcome to the Chico de Manuel Show. Let's get to it. I got into an incident yesterday, and something I'm getting really sick and fucking tired of. Something that needs to go now is these all bark, no bite ass, disrespectful, useless grown men. Like grown ass men. These fake ass tough guys. Like, it's fucking annoying. I think it's objectively annoying to have these losers out here trying to engage niggas in bully warfare. Like, you trying to bully me with words, nigga. Like, I won't throw down with your ass. Niggas think I'm really scared of what they said. A nigga like me is more scared of what's not being said. But that's just me. So, to walk you down this incident I had yesterday on the bus on the way to Plasma. So they got these buses in the D called fast buses, and they pretty much just only stop at main points of, of transit. Like, they only stop on the main roads, so they go a little faster. And I jumped on that bitch, and it happened to be like pretty damn fuller than normal. It must have been a bus that was late or something, and that came and picked up the overflow. But it was pretty packed. So if you're not familiar with Detroit, don't worry about keeping up with the geography of this. But so from the State Fairgrounds, it stops at 7 Mile, it skips 6 Mile, and then goes to Manchester. So we picked up a fuck ton of people at 7 Mile. And the bus driver was letting us know, like, next stop is Manchester, so we need to be able to move the traffic. She's just trying to inform the passengers. And it's this dude on the bus, and he's just yelling like, shut up, stop talking, drive the fucking bus. Don't nobody want to hear what the fuck you got to say. You ain't doing shit, stop talking, blah, blah, blah. And this goes on and on for about maybe 30 seconds until the bus driver finally says something back to him. He quieted down on the bus. She says something back. He said, I'm driving, what your ass doing? And he said, I got a car, I don't even need to catch the bus, blah, blah, blah. And I happened to be on a video call with one of my niggas when this shit was happening. And I'm like, bro, I said to dog who was talking to the bus driver wild as fuck, I'm like, hey, bro, you being disrespectful as hell, bro. Like, how you gonna be talking to the fucking bus driver like that? Just talking about stop talking, telling her shut up, nigga. What if she paused this bitch and tell you to get the fuck off? Nigga, what if that was your mama that was driving this motherfucking bus, What if that was your motherfucking sister or that was your auntie or some shit like that? What if that was one of your good friends? The fuck? You just gonna sit there and let some random ass car wash working ass nigga working at the car wash ass nigga? And I told him that shit. And this nigga basically was like, get off at the next stop. I'll beat your ass, blah, 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 this and that. And at first I'm like, nigga, no, I ain't finna fight you, nigga. I'm gonna walk away from your dumb ass, nigga, cause you dumb. Your ass foolish, but you disrespectful, and ain't nobody else on this bitch gonna say nothing to your ass, nigga. But that's what the fuck you need to hear, boy. Calm your ass down. Talking all that tough shit. So this nigga fucking stand up on the bus, and I face up with this nigga. I square up, and people start moving out the way and shit. At this point, we arriving at Manchester. People stepping off the bus. This nigga steps off the bus. I see him standing there waiting. So, nigga, I got a little string backpack. I goes to set that bitch down. Nigga, what's good? And I'm about to break his fucking shit. And then the nigga just walks away. Going to Dollar General ass nigga, you fucking brokey. Talking about you already got a card. And why the fuck you on the bus? Why are you talking? Who give a fuck about your existence or whatever little puny ass message you got to deliver? Bitch. Who cares? Nigga. And that's a fucking problem, man. It's too common. All these niggas walking around here ain't never shot no gun, ain't never hit a heavy bag, ain't never threw a kick, talking all this cash shit like these niggas could run a 100-meter dash in less than 13 seconds. Like, you niggas out of shape, you niggas bums, you niggas stupid. Fuck you. Nigga, I'm tired of these motherfuckers, bro. And the kicker is, like, I started not to even say nothing to this dude. Like, I started to just let it ride. Be like, fuck it, man. If this nigga want to be wild, whatever. But it's like, hell no. Like, what's the incentive to do that? What the fuck is the incentive to do that? You are blatantly disrespectful right now, homie. You are blatantly fucking disrespectful. And it's pissing me off, nigga. Like, would you be saying that shit if it was a male bus driver? Would you be talking all that cash shit if it was some big black nigga sitting in that motherfucking bus driver's seat? And that nigga paused that motherfucking bus to get on there and Uncle Phil throw your ass off that bitch, nigga. Now what? You niggas pussies, bro. I don't know how I could not say something like that. That shit was like giving me that adrenaline spike that you get like before you finna fight. Like when your motherfucking heart start pumping and shit, and you just be like, boo, 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 boo. You just be ready, you know? One of them type deals. And when I think about it, I can recall, like, I done talked about on this podcast before, so many situations where these weak-ass motherfuckers, these shit-talking extraordinaires, be yapping off at the fucking mouth like I give a fuck about what you got to say. I don't give a fuck about what you got to say, good or bad, nigga. I don't give a fuck about your heart beating, nigga. Fuck you, generally. Like, niggas want to talk all this cash shit, and I try to let it slide, try to dismiss a nigga, but nigga want to keep going. Nigga want to egg me on. And now when I'm ready to go to war with your bitch ass, now you ain't got nothing to say, nigga. It don't be nothing but air and opportunity, nigga. Make a move. Make a move, and I'ma fuck your life up, nigga. When I step up, ain't no smoke no more. All the smoke just dissipates right then and there, just gone. Like, nigga, like a strong-ass gust of wind just came through. Niggas don't want no actual smoke. Niggas want theoretical smoke. And let me tell you, I don't got no theoretical fire, nigga. I don't. If you gonna do something, nigga. If I want to read storybooks, nigga, I go to the motherfucking library, bro. I want to hear what the fuck you got to say. Because real talk, I'm not even really like, I'm not naturally inclined to be violent. I got the propensity for violence, but that's not my archetype. Like, I'm not really, I don't want to be no dictator, like, enforcing bruiser, brawler ass nigga. Like, that's not, I'm not no melee king, you know? But it's like, if it come down to it, nigga, I'm ready to do it, nigga. If it comes down to it, like, it's never like a not possible option for me. It's just usually like the last one on the list. Nigga, if I gotta get up and break a nigga jaw and then pay for the straw he gotta eat out of for the rest of his life, fuck it. If I get my jaw broken in the process, that's the risk I take, nigga. Like, I couldn't avoid conflict, nigga. It had to happen. If a nigga want to fight me, walk up and swing. If you want to guarantee the fight, nigga, that's all you got to do. Walk up and throw your little weak-ass punch, and you better hope it connect. Because they going to need the jaws of life to pull me off of your ass. I might beat you to death on some don't know my own strength shit, because I really don't fight niggas like that. But I will, nigga. I'm in great shape. I do not fear you pussies. So I think, like, the overall takeaway from this shit is, like, as a man, like, you gotta do the right thing within reason. Like, don't foolishly thrust yourself into situations for the sake of, you know, being thrustable. That's not recommended. You know, don't go around looking for a problem. There should be no chip on your shoulder. But, nigga, there's people out there that depend on you, whether they know it or not. They may not know that they depend on you. but you're there for a reason. And it should bother you a little bit, maybe not completely disrupt you or ruin you, but it should bother you a little bit if you know you willingly passed up on an opportunity to do the right thing that could have made an actual difference, that could have helped somebody, could have protected somebody, could have did something valuable. Like, you should feel a little bad about that as a man. I'm just saying. I know all men don't and all men won't, but if you a man that's striving to be a better person, if you aiming upwards, that should be in your repertoire, nigga. And it take time. Like, it take time to even know that that's the direction you heading in. It take time, so don't feel some type of way if it ain't here now. If it don't come, it don't come. But if it ain't here now, don't sweat it, nigga. If you that type of person, nigga, the puzzle pieces will begin to fall into place. You will understand. There will be no doubt in your mind about what your task is, what your purpose is, what you here to do. You know? A real man who fight for good is going to do those things. If you an actual force for good, like if you are against evil, that's what you would do. If you are enlightened and you feel emboldened by what you believe in, what you stand for, what's right and what's wrong, these things will soon become second nature to you. I promise you. Let's get to the show. All right, here we go. I have not been a man with a lot of free time lately, so I'm doing this while I'm waiting on the bus, which I really, really hate to do. Because it's just not, I don't see why I can't. But, you know, it is what it is. That's my own insecurity I'm projecting onto you. Deal with it. Strike one. Courtesy of well plus good. Yes, living with a nesting partner is way different from having a roommate. Here we go. Bright and early with the bullshit. This is really why I don't like this partner shit, this whole partner word. Because partner is an ambiguous term. It does not, it's like, what kind of partner? Like Batman and Robin? Like a business partner? Like partners in crime? What do you mean? What does that entail? Partner is like, wife is specific. Husband and wife, that's specific. If you say, hey, this is my wife. Hello, this is my husband. Like, oh, what kind of husband is he? Like, no. This is the guy you marry, not some ambiguous human who you are intertwining lives with at a point in time for an undisclosed purpose or an indefinite purpose. So it's like when these motherfuckers talk about all this partner shit, is because they want to leave room open to be however the fuck they want to be and commit to nothing. They don't ever want to make their mind up. Yeah, I might love you for 17 years, but what about the 18th year? The 18th year is more serious than the 17 years I did love you. Because I always reserve the right to change my mind and I might have to go on a journey or, you know, you're just not fulfilling me anymore. It's always some shit, you know. And I understand, I'm a long-ass first take, and I might just be hung up on the word partner a little bit. Like, it might just be the wording. I understand a relationship is a partnership in essence, but I don't think that's how these people are using it, you know? The fact that you need an article to highlight the differences between a fucking nesting partner, whatever the fuck that is, and a roommate should let you know that it's really no difference. And people are just splitting hairs stupidly. So, let's get involved. If you're a birder, Virgo, or expecting parent, odds are you're familiar with nesting, aka the process of preparing and inhabiting a home. All right, so I think you guys know what I'm about to do. Let me look this word up real quick. You're not going to hear it, but I'll say it. What's the definition of the word? Uh-oh, it caught that part. What's the definition of the word nesting? Of a bird or other animal building or occupying a nest of similar objects of graduated sizes able to be placed or stored one inside the other. To fit object or objects inside another. So to nest, you either fit one object inside the other, or of a bird or other animal building or occupying a nest. So yeah, I guess it is the process of preparing and inhabiting a home if you're a birder or a Virgo, or if you're an actual bird. But what? That's not what the fuck nesting means. It's not what it means. That shit they said is not in the definition. It's not. So, frankly, what the fuck are you talking about? Well, let's continue. Outside of binocular-laden bird watching and astrological deep dives, the term nesting is commonly used amongst polyamorous and other non-monogamous folks with the word partner tacked on the end. Okay. So yeah, it's used by these motherfuckers, this esoteric group of motherfuckers that like to redefine language and just say, well, I know this word was here before I got here, but we're going to change it because we're polyamorous and non-monogamous folk. Real quick, let's highlight everything wrong with this ridiculous paragraph. First of all, the fact that they're trying to personify actions that wild birds take in order to raise their young and parallel that with anything humane is just absurd. It's just stupid. It's dumb. The reason this term is allegedly used among polyamorous and other non-monogamous folks with the word partner tacked on the end is because these people aren't human and common sense don't resonate with these motherfuckers. You know? But let's continue, because I've already talked a lot. I don't want to get into too many tangents that I don't need to get into right now. Man, let's just hang on. Oh yeah, haven't been able to say this in a while, but I'm firing up right now. You should too. Today was my lucky day. I found a pre-roll on the ground. Okay, nesting partners are two or more people who agree to own a house or rent an apartment together, explains Allie Eisman, a non-monogamy sexpert and founder of Passport to Pleasure, a concierge wellness guide for couples and individuals exploring healthy non-monogamy. Basically, nest partners are just two partners who live together. It sounds simple enough, and in many cases, it is simple. Given how different cohabitation looks and feels for E&M compared to monogamous folks. However, sometimes people are left with the wrong impression or just downright confused when they learn their recent right swipe, coworker, or family member has a nesting partner. Don't you just want to buy one now? You don't even need to know what the fuck a nesting partner is. After reading that, don't you just want to buy one? Don't you just want to buy a nesting partner? Listen to how they sold it, bro. You know, you might be downright confused by this language because it's fucking confusing. What the fuck do you mean by partner? What do you mean by that? Nest partners are just two partners who live together. So what's the difference from a nest partner and a regular partner? You know, what is the difference between that? What quality needs to exist among the relationship to where we can distinguish partners as in like business or working out or something else from partners who are romantically or sexually involved? Like we got to draw that line somewhere. You can't just keep throwing this partner word around interchangeably when there's different types of partners. Or if you're a long distance partner or a short distance partner, or if you cannot continue to broaden definitions to include every single everything regarding, like, you cannot meta define everything. Like, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. What's the difference between two partners that's living together and two people living together? What's the difference? I mean, all partners are people, right? Like, partners, that's a human concept, like, you know, human animal concept. So, like, what's the difference between two partners and two people? I'll tell you, there really isn't. And another one, bro, what is a sexpert? Like, that's another word really open to interpretation. So by sexpert, do you mean like someone who's done a lot of fucking? You suck a lot of dick, now you a dick sucking professional? Like, you just a whore? Like, are that what you mean by sexpert? Or are you some type of strange, creepy voyeur who like peers in on other people's sexual conquests and like collects data and asks questions on some weirdo shit? What is that? The fuck? Sexpert. These people are just sexual deviants, man. Like, sex is the bulk of what determines what they do and don't in life. Like, everything is sex driven. Everything is sex driven. You know? Fuck. Is it not obvious how painfully, man, they are changing the language to remove all meaning, all concrete meaning. So that anything can mean whatever the fuck you want it to mean. No wonder people are sometimes confused by the vast array of dumbass names they can choose to describe any goddamn thing around here nowadays. Like, this ain't shit that was actually confusing. Like, nobody needed to know this shit. They already got words to describe all this shit anyways. Like, new words weren't necessary, but new words were given. You know? They did not need new terms. And don't fret, if you are as confused as I am, the next couple sex serps that I'm finna read should get you enlightened. Because this article goes into detail about what these nesting partners is, what that means, who gives a fuck, and on what days of the week this shit applies. So, as mentioned earlier, a nesting partner is a name for a partner with whom you decide to live, explains Leanne Yao, the educator behind Polyphilia. Polyphilia? That's a weird name. A social media project dedicated to education and entertainment on polyamory, non-monogamy, and personal growth. The term doesn't imply anything more or less than that you are partners and also that you cohabitate. Okay. According to Yao, the term likely originated in the 1961 book Stranger in a Strange Land by Robert Heinlein. In the novel, an alien comes to Earth and starts a trend of communal living where everyone lives in groups called nests. A lot of people in the polyamorous community are big fans of that book and took the concept of nesting from its pages, Yao says. These days, Yao says, the term can be used by non-monogamous and monogamous folks alike. But most commonly it's used by people who are polyamorous with multiple loving partnerships and are looking for language that accurately describes their current relationship standings, obligations, and entanglements. Okay, I did not see that. Did they really just Jada Pinkett this shit? They called it an entanglement? An entanglement. Describe their current relationship standings, obligations, and entanglements. So this is some Jada Pinkett and Will Smith shit. Like, she said she was separating from him, but she was still his wife. So like, but they weren't together since like 2016. People like that are the ones that need this kind of stupid ass language to bury their sins. Bitch, you shouldn't have been doing that shit. You shouldn't have been doing any of that shit. Now, in an attempt to make yourself feel less guilty about it, you want to invent new language and create new words to quote. It says, no, let me come back to people who are polyamorous like to be very specific in their language in order to properly differentiate their partners from one another, as well as explain those particular relationships, they say. So, to trim the fat from that, to be whores. That's what it is. You need to label all the guys you're fucking so you know how far to go with each one, which one's in the friend zone, which one you're going to blow in the alley behind Myers, or which one you're going to fucking, get a room, go to Vegas and have a weekend with her, Like, you got to be able to identify all these different dudes, and you need language to do that. Because I guess that language wasn't previously here, I guess. I mean, I don't know how this works. So at this point, we like on the 11th tee of the stupidity golf course. The term implies that we're partners and that we cohabitate. I mean, like, I get that. I understand that. But who gives a fuck about that distinguishment that's not in the relationship? Like, why do you think there weren't words to describe this shit before? There weren't words to describe this shit because those words already existed. We didn't need new words. You were called dumbasses. You were called losers. You were called weirdos. You were called deviants. Swingers. Words already exist for this kind of shit. You guys just need language so that you can talk about it, and it's less likely that you introduce a counter argument such as, why are you married and having sex with other men? Oh no, well see, he's my nesting partner. We're in a polyamorous this and that and blah, blah, blah. Oh, I get it. Okay. No, it's not there for a reason. And the biggest reason that I can think of right now is because it's stupid. And not only that it's stupid, it just, actually, yes, that is stupid. In addition to that, once you find out that these people took a term nesting partner from fucking what? A sci-fi book in the early 60s about an alien coming to cohabitate amongst humans and communal living or whatever the fuck. So this is where they want to base their vocabulary out of. They want to take some obscure novel written like 60 years ago. I'm like, oh, well, that's what this alien did. That's what I want me to be. I want to do this. I want to have partners. You know, you got a nesting partner and then you got a roommate. Just listen to that sentence. Hi, this is Raul. He's my nesting partner, and this is Dave. He's my roommate. What? What? Like, so you live with Raul and Dave? So they're both your roommate. No, I live with Dave. Raul's my nesting partner. So what do you guys do when you nest? Oh, we live together. We cohabitate in the same. So you live together. No, we're nesting. Like a Virgo or a birder or no, we're nesting. It's just stupid. It's just stupid. They want to base their vocabulary out of a fiction novel that accurately portrays the fantasy which these people desperately wish existed. People in the polyamorous community. Like I said, whores and weirdos. No, I get it. Makes sense. Not really, though. Not really. Also, the article suggests that these people are looking for language that caters to the unique and unconventional lifestyle these people live. You got to be specific in that language so you can differentiate the one partner that you fucking from the one partner and the other partner who pays your bills and the other partner that takes you to dinner and the other partner that calls you on Thursday, but you're not particularly involved with any one of these people, but they all play a very important role in your life, which is why you need inclusive language to designate all the different people that you're fucking over and fucking. Because you can't nail down your own personality and just be cool with what you are. Like that you are this. This is what you are. Be okay with it. Be okay. The behaviors that contributed to your existence now, the reason why you are here, are all the behaviors you want to destroy. Polyamorous folk, like, show me a happy polyamorous person. Like, these people don't ever seem happy. These people seem disturbed and like on a constant mission to like try to twist reality into something that is not. Like, who does this shit? Is the language really that important to your well-being? Like, do you really need language for this shit? Like, you got to have official terms, not just terms that you use amongst yourself, but still use the fundamental English language. But you need language invented specifically to describe your atrocities. Like, I don't get it. It's a casual gloss over of all the weirdness and deviance that your lifestyle includes. That's what that shit is. There's nothing more than that. Now, the next paragraph I'm about to read, it drones on and on about the difference between a nesting partner and a roommate. But I'm going to spare you that bullshit, and I'm going to just explain it myself. So the difference between a nesting partner and a roommate is nothing. It's just two words. I'll touch on this often. It's just how shell shock became battle fatigue, became operational exhaustion, became post-traumatic stress disorder, and all the pain is buried under jargon. That's all this shit is. I'm not going to stop saying it. It's a new lexicon to attempt to block the inherent negative feelings associated with this promiscuous-ass, cavalier-ass sexual lifestyle. Nobody needs to do that shit. Nobody. Not one person. So let's read what the paragraph says about nesting partners and primary partners and anchor partners, and then probably gonna have to wrap it up because it's becoming way too clunky and stupid for me. Nested partner versus primary partner versus anchor partner. Again, many folks who are polyamorous lean on a wide variety of modifiers in order to describe their partnership, relationships, commitments, and entanglements. Commitments. While this language can be clarifying for those who are in the know on polyamory lingo, for everyone else it can be a cause for a head scratch. Unfortunately, such is commonly the case with nesting partners, which Yao says is commonly confused with the terms like primary partner and anchor partner, despite not being synonymous at all. Okay, well, they both use the word partner. They're synonymous. Like, how can you have two different types of partners that aren't synonymous? Like, he's a partner, she's a partner. This is why I don't like that word, partner. You know, it's like calling a police officer a superhero or some shit like that. Like, he's not an actual superhero. He might do superhero work, but he's a regular guy. He bleeds red just like the rest of us. You know, he's just got a higher calling. He's got a higher pursuit to protect and serve and do all that shit that cops say they do, you know. I'm like, oh, that's my superhero. He saves the day, but just not as a cop. He saves the day. Like, all this language ain't needed. You know, and I done read far enough ahead to know that there ain't nothing else of any material substance to justify torturing my listeners any fucking longer. I'll just be hitting the same talking points. This language isn't necessary. This is all a symptom of the attack on language that's happening in the West. Nothing is what the fuck it's been. But not because it's actually changed. It's because a bunch of weirdos and losers and dumb fucks want to change the language to what they say, normalize this unsavory ass behavior. And then the gall of these motherfuckers, the audacity to talk a wide variety of modifiers in order to describe their partnerships, relationships, commitments, and entanglements. How you gonna have a commitment and an entanglement? You telling me Jada Pinkett Smith is committed to her husband while she's out sucking some other nigga's dick? How do you have the commitment amongst the entanglement? And I bet you if you ask somebody how you do that, how do you have a commitment? They'll just start, well, see, it's a nuanced thing. It's a very expansive discussion. It's not something that can be just approached or broached with. It's a whole elongated-ass, extended bullshit explanation about just basically promiscuity. It's promiscuity broadened. That's all it is, man. I don't give a shit about all the special nicknames they give and everything. It's patently fucking stupid. What's the takeaway here? If you have a nesting partner, if you don't believe in roommates, if the word roommate or friend with benefits, even though like friend with benefits is what kind of friend? Like, friends are supposed to have been. That's why you're friends. How many friends do you have without benefits? You have a friend without benefits? Doesn't make sense. Friend with benefits. Stupid shit. It's all patently stupid. If you have a nesting partner, if you have any hang up with simple, direct English language, fuck you. There's nothing for us to say. Man, if only you knew. All right, courtesy of HNHH, Shaq reveals why he doesn't open up emotionally to women. Nah, honestly, this ain't really newsworthy. It's actually rather old news at this point. But in my opinion, it's another example of how it's not really okay to be a masculine man in today's society, in the West. You know, any kind of masculine sentiment you try to emanate is just dismantled, misinterpreted, probably on purpose. I understand it ain't, and when you talking about shit, like just open discussion, ain't nothing absolute. But he's right. He's absolutely right, and he's right for most men. This is not even really disputable. Or they say reveals why he doesn't know, like, what kind, is that really a revelation? It's not, I don't think. But I can and I will elaborate more on this shit, so let's get involved. Shaq has advocated against men sharing their feelings with women. Whenever something goes down, they throw it back in your face. Shaq reasoned when asked on the Big Podcast why he doesn't open up to his partners. Shaq is divorced and has since struggled to hold down a relationship long term. In the past, the Hall of Famer has admitted to making mistakes and being greedy in his first marriage. However, the sharing of feelings doesn't appear to be a mistake Shaq thinks he's made. All right. First of all, how do they know he's struggled to hold down a long-term relationship? Where are they getting that information from? Just because he's divorced and still divorced? Like, you assume that he struggles to maintain a long-term relationship? What do you mean? What's long-term? Like, how's he struggling? Like, just because he's single or divorced? I would disagree with that. Now, let's break this down properly. Men should be open and communicative with their women. Like, and I really hate this partner term. Like, you probably figured that out in the last segment, so I'm not going to drone on about it, but I understand it's essentially a partnership. There's nothing wrong with communicating the details of your daily stressors and shit and your struggles with each other. Like, that's fine. You can do that. Ain't nothing wrong with, oh, I just had a rough day, motherfucker at work, blah, 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 blah. Oh, it's okay, honey. Rub your shoulders and shit. Yeah, that's fine. But to be a man and be having like emotional breakdowns like a woman has, no. If you just wear your heart on your sleeve so often, like, first of all, how'd you even get married? How'd you get a girl? Being a sissy, a Nancy boy, like, where the fuck? How? That's the first question I got. And then if you can't even handle your day-to-day life without expressing every innermost detail about it, breaking down every emotion in excruciating detail, and it's like, where's the toughness in that? Like, I get it, it is strong to be able to express yourself. There's strength in that, but like, you mean strength like lifting weights? Strength like pushing boulders and shit? Handling things? Like, two different types of strength. Emotional strength and physical strength are nothing near the same. They might feed off one another a little bit, but they are mutually exclusive. The deal in a relationship is to be there for each other and be a source of support for one another. Like, that's the whole, it's one of the perks of the relationship. But if you're using your girl like an emotional tampon, like, you're going to get exactly what Shaq said. They're going to throw that shit back up in your face. A whole lot of women have expressed how they don't really like dealing with like cheesy ass, emotional, beta simp motherfuckers. I mean, you serve some purpose, but it's mainly just to stroke her ego. Your expected role is to be a pillar capable of protecting your family and exemplifying competence and not projecting that shit onto them. If you always cracking under the pressure and displaying weakness, you're going to consequently lose respect. How the fuck do you not? You're going to have some bad days. Everybody do. But it's not so much what happened to you. It's your ability to be resilient and how well you rebound from the inevitabilities of life consistently, not just once or twice. Like, how often can you roll with the punches and like not be disabled? Now, these motherfuckers talking about because he's divorced and it's a lack of emotional transparency. And yeah, probably. I don't completely doubt that. But without a degree of certainty on like the intricacies of his marriage and shit, I would say that's a generous speculation to assume that it's a bad strategy or that he didn't actually try to be open and it didn't work out for him. That's a lot to just, that's a big brush to paint a nigga with, As a man, I've learned that a woman's lens is not how a man should view the world. Like, I learn that every time I talk to my sister. Like, she's so much more compassionate, understanding, and like, well, maybe in this, and sometimes people, and I'm just not, that's not me. Like, I'm not saying like all the shit, like her personality, just like all. When I say this is what women do, it's in that real general sense. But it's like the way the women see the world is not how men see the world. Like, I hear what she be saying, but I don't give a fuck about that flavor of explanation. She could be a woman could be a source of comfort and rejuvenation. But if she can't look up to you or respect you, then your ass is emotionally unstable or immature or, She got to be your therapist. Like, what the fuck is up with that shit? Like, do you really want to be her therapist? Probably not. And not only because women say dumb shit and have boring-ass stories most of the time, but it's like, no, that's unattractive. It's a turnoff for a lot of women, and rightfully so. If your masculine role is if the masculine role is that the man, his deepest feelings and okay, I fucked up. I'm reading this shit. Let me read the sentence, take a pause, and then figure out how I'm gonna do this. Because, yeah, it's embarrassing to keep stumbling. It's going to be obvious anyway, so let's just put it on Front Street. Okay. It was a typo. I'm basically saying, like, a man is usually best dealing with his fucking shit on his own time. All this talking about it, all this invitation to oh, you just, and that really hurt me, and I was traumatized. Like, yeah, okay. I understand, but that means you're still weak. That means you're still weak. Because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to have to make the decisions regarding your life. Like, you get all the advice in the world. What the fuck are you going to do? To continue with the article, meanwhile, commenters online were not vibing with the NBA legend's comments. You know what's funny? Women open up to a man and tell him all you've been through. He doesn't just throw it in your face. He does the same stuff to you again, one person noted. Another person says, this man cheated on his wife, got divorced, she remarried, and he still proceeded to call her his wife. Still proceeded to call her his wife because that's mine. Listen to him if y'all want to, said someone else. Okay, yeah, men are dogs. True. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. Just saying that some people, in general, fucking suck. They do. They're terrible people. Fuck that we're all humans, everybody. No, some people suck. And they need to disappear or be dead. They need to be gone somewhere. Fuck them. Some people are just outright menaces to society. And they should be dealt with. But I think it's safe to presume that most of us will handle our situations in our past differently if we had some wisdom and some clarity that comes with age. Some things feel like the right thing to do in one moment, and then once the decision is made, it's made. Some women tell men that they're going to be by their side through thick and thin, and as soon as shit gets thin, they bounce. So it cancels out. Men and women got optimal examples and odious examples. The drawback of this, don't relegate men or women into a zone where nobody is worthwhile. When you looking for a partner for yourself, it's a risky journey. If you're looking for a wife, a husband, girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse, there ain't no guarantee that what the future holds is what you seek. None at all. However, the journey's still worth taking. You still got to do it. You owe it to yourself to figure that out. And as far as the chick sarcastically suggesting that if we listen to him, y'all listen to him if you want to. The late, great Kevin Samuels said it best. Single women keep women single. A palindrome that stand the test of time. Like I said, almost a year ago in my first episodes, women got the worst dating advice for men because women are not men. Patrice O'Neal said it's like a fish telling a grizzly bear how it wants to be caught, a fucking salmon. Like, what? No, I do the catching, you do the getting caught, and we'll work it out from there. Continue. Meanwhile, one relationship that is working out for Shaq is the more familial one he has with LSU star Angel Reese. Reese called him a, quote, father figure during a wide-ranging interview that she and other members of LSU did with USA Today. Quote, there's really strong parallels in their personalities. They love people. They welcome the spotlight that comes with stardom. They both have a great love for this school and an enthusiasm for life, said Bob Starkey, an LSU assistant coach. During his long tenure in Baton Rouge, Starkey has coached both LSU legends. Furthermore, Reese used father figure to describe the Hall of Famer, saying she didn't see him as a role model or a basketball mentor. They have a light, airy relationship, which ranges from Shaq giving Reese business advice to Reese roasting Shaq if he is ever spotted out with a woman. Additionally, Reese says she plans to have him walk with her on senior day. This is an honor typically reserved for family members. If Reese plans to declare for the WNBA this year, Senior Day will likely be LSU's regular season finale at home against Kentucky. Father figure. I remember that term being honorable. You know, deadbeat dads, which some exist, but just phrases like that. Like, what about the niggas who get labeled as deadbeat dads, but ain't deadbeat dads? They got some deadbeat bitch-ass moms. But like I said, those things cancel out. Like, if you can find a situation for each sex, it cancels out. But anyway, a father figure gives guidance. You know, tell you the shit that you don't want to hear, but you need to hear. You got some wisdom, got life experience, and got your best interest at heart, even when it don't seem like it. However, all people can seem to take away from his sentiment is that he's a divorcee who, according to social media dweebs, doesn't know anything about what women want and tell you not to listen to him. Fathers and father figures are becoming scarce as this toxic masculinity trope continues to pollute and toxify society day by day. For real. Ask a woman what toxic masculinity is and see what she says. Then go ask another woman what toxic masculinity is and see what she says. Then when you got the 10 women, take those definitions and try to consolidate them into one definition, and I guarantee you cannot do it. Because it's not a thing. It's a talking point. It's a trope. Shit ain't real. How the fuck is masculinity toxic? Masculinity built the goddamn world we all live in. You know? Masculinity is a topic many women discuss but don't understand. And similarly, men don't fully understand true femininity exhibited by toxic feminine traits that corrupt the good men that they aggressively desire. You know, in the West, our society done prioritized lust and sexual fantasies is where your value is derived. And that's a crock of shit. In the sense that if you give it away or mainstream, if you give it away on the mainstream level, it appreciates. No, abundance decreases value. You don't walk around all day capturing air in airtight boxes in case you run out tomorrow. Oxygen is everywhere. It's ubiquitous, plentiful. Even though it's critical for our existence, it's not a commodity because it's everywhere. You don't walk into the DMV and say, ma'am, are you going to pay for the air or not? If so, you got to get the fuck out. Like, no one's ever said that anywhere. Because, you know, as abundant as it is, like, the less, it's not on your hierarchy of things to worry about. You're like, okay, I got to get up, brush my teeth, go to work, get some air. Like, or otherwise I don't have any air. Like, nah. So to conclude here, on cue, there's going to always be somebody out there, whether out of ignorance or out of spite, that's going to fail to properly digest the tips and tidbits given regarding how a man should deal with his emotions. I recommend stoicism, exercise, practicing gratitude, and understanding your deeper purpose. We don't have a lot of time to leave our marks on the world, but it's what we're here to accomplish, and excuses are rarely, if ever, tolerated or welcome. A woman could fill in the blanks in a man's sentence and contribute to his peace of mind in a way that no other being can do. However, if you're not grounded and secure in your masculinity and you don't emanate that in everything you do, don't be surprised if the tables turn and you get left alone and all dismantled and fucked up and broken. Tasked with reassembling yourself without any counsel or any reliable reassurance. Listen to these single and toxic women if you want to. Sound familiar? I bet it does. I'm firing up right now. You should too. I ain't been able to say that as much, but I can say it today. Fuck. All right, I was going to talk about Sean Strickland beating up on Sneeko, but hang on. I was going to talk about Sean Strickland beating up on Sneeko, but perhaps I'll save that for another episode because it's kind of dated now, but I think it can still be talked about. What I decided to put in place of that is courtesy of LGBTQ nation. A well which I've visited before, you know. And they've got this article, this headline says it's time to give the middle finger to our oppressors and elect more black trans leaders. Now, that sentence is terrifying. They say it's time to give the middle finger to our oppressors. Like, these people love to talk about oppression. They talk about they just need an oppression network. Like just even though network TV is dead, these people just need a TV station. Something called like OPN or something, where they can just sit there and talk about all the ways they think they're oppressed, you know? And then elect more black trans leaders? No, absolutely not. With the way you guys conduct yourselves, the emotional blackmail, which you guys base everything you do off of. Everything you do is a extortion, blackmail technique. I was watching Walsh yesterday. Fucking people was in Florida. I don't know if they were sitting outside. I think they was at the DMV or something like that. And these motherfuckers had something called a die-in. Not dine in like you would do when you go to a restaurant. Like a die-in, as in death, as in cease to exist, death. And they basically just laid on the ground holding picket signs and I guess pretended to be dead. Which, in my opinion, they did a good enough job for me because these motherfuckers were already dead to me. This is some shit like a toddler does. Like when you say, all right, what's the name they give kids nowadays? All right, Hayden, it's time to go to bed. I don't want to go to bed. Hayden. Motherfucker folds his arm and like lays out on the ground all limp-bodied and shit, like dead weight. So you can't so you have to physically lift and place this nigga in the bed. That's what these adults have done. A die-in. And these are the people that we should be electing to lead. Yeah, okay. To get to the article, in the relentless struggle for liberation and justice, there is an intersection between transgender rights and the broader fight for black liberation that cannot be ignored. This juncture demands a raw, unfiltered examination of the connection between our fundamental rights and political representation. The fight for transgender rights, intricately linked to the broader black liberation movement, requires resolute action. Black History Month serves as a stern reminder that our battle is not just for recognition, but for the very right to live in safety and dignity as we all deserve. Now, I give it to him. That was a well-written introduction. Like, grammar-wise, like, literacy-wise, like, it was fun to read. In the relentless struggle for liberation and justice, there is a league of superheroes designed to protect these justices. Like, it was kind of like that, you know? It says it demands a raw, unfiltered examination of the connection between our fundamental rights and political representation. Like, what? The fight for transgender rights, like, I don't understand whatever these people call rights is not really like rights, you know, like Bill of Rights. Like, these people want like hormone treatments, and they were doing that die-in at the DMV to protest the Florida enacting a law to where like your gender or sex or whatever on your driver's license must match your biological sex. That's what they consider the transgender right. Like, oh, I need to be able to put my shit to female even though I'm a male. You violated my rights. These people manipulate language and they use language as a weapon. This is why I've always been talking about, damn near from day one, the attack on language. These people are attacking the language. They don't give a fuck about your words. They don't give a fuck about objective meaning. They give a fuck about themselves. And I don't think that's cool. Like, why? if this is what giving a fuck about yourself look like, hell no, Brody. Hell no. You got, what's this? Oh, okay, all right. In the face of an onslaught of over 500 anti-LGBTQ bills in 2023, with 84 becoming law, the urgency of our existence is undeniable. In fact, according to the American Civil Liberties Union, over 400 anti-LGBTQ bills have already been introduced this year alone. And we're not even 2 full months into the year yet. Okay, so, I hear you. I hear that. My question would be, what do you consider an anti-LGBTQ bill? Like, I need to know what that means, like without a doubt. Like, I need to know what it means. Like, if I asked 50 LGBTQ people, what would you consider anti-LGBTQ? At least 40 of them would say relatively the same thing. That's what I need to know. The urgency of your existence is undeniable. Well, I would agree with that because you guys won't shut the hell up about it. Like, we see you, we hear you. You guys get months and days, copious months and days throughout the year to celebrate and shriek and holler about your existence. You get it. So it's like, I wouldn't say it's an urgency as much as it's an onslaught. Like, it's a bombardment of yourself on everyone. You're making it urgent. Your life is no more urgent than anyone else's life. Why is your life so urgent? Does my life carry the same significance, emergency, demand? Like, and this year, over 400 anti-LGBTQ bills have already been introduced this year alone. So, like, does transgender rights filter into lesbian, gay, and bisexual and queer rights? Like, is it transgender rights or is it LGBTQ rights? Like, these people have made so many terms that you can't understand what you're talking about when you use them. It's all too subjective. It's too based on the listener, based on who you interacting with. You know? It says, let me. Yeah, it's like our fundamental rights, the fight for transgender rights. Okay, so are lesbians and gays just kind of obligated to also fight for transgender rights, even though they're not transgender, they're just gay? I mean, you guys are both under the LGBTQ umbrella, so it would seem to like kind of factor in, you know? I mean, I'm just trying to understand here. You said over 400 anti-LGBTQ bills have been introduced this year alone. Y'all said the don't say gay bill, like that shit they did, the don't say gay, that's not what the bill was about. It was about, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Matter of fact, let's just look it up. Let's just see if I can get it real quick. What was don't say gay bill about? Okay, courtesy of the National Education Association, NEA.org. Okay, I'm just going to briefly, oh yeah, okay, so they was trying to reproduce, if I'm not mistaken, now that I look at this, the don't say gay was really just trying to like ban certain homosexual books and literature and certain sexual topics from being put into elementary schools to be taught to young children. And then it suddenly got branded all in the media as the don't say gay bill, when the bill actually doesn't say anything about saying gay at all. So it's like, if that's the type of shit you consider anti-gay, like not wanting to introduce children to gayness. I just saw a reel yesterday where this lady was just like, my baby's gay. It's like a little toddler. Like, I mean, not even a toddler, like an infant, like a year old or less. My baby's gay. You just that. And I don't care what you say. Straight people want him to be straight, right? So why can't I want him to be gay? Blah, 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 blah. Inferior, stupid, not credible logic. You sound fucking ridiculous. And ridiculous is me being polite. I actually think you might be fucking insane. Like, you might be non-recyclable. Let's keep going. The Department of Homeland Security's acknowledgement of increased violence, particularly towards transgender women and girls of color, underscores the reality we face. These bills, whether passed or not, inflict immeasurable harm on our community, perpetuating oppressive narratives that fuel discrimination. Okay, increased violence. Why don't I hear about this? Like, why don't I hear about events that would indicate an increase? Like, since inflation has increased, I've heard a lot more about it in the past couple years or so. Since Taylor Swift started dating Travis Kelce, I've heard a lot more about Taylor Swift. You know, when things happen, we talk about them, whether you want to hear them or not. So it's like, why am I not hearing about any increased violence against trans folk, transgender women in particular? Like, where's the spike? Where's the data that shows an increase? Quite frankly, you guys are committing to violence against yourselves because the suicide rate is what's increasing amongst y'all, pre or post transition. Y'all are taking it out on yourselves. No one, and when it does happen, it's extremely rare. And it's a very high likelihood that there's some type of sex, drugs, or illegal behavior involved. And it's not just like, motherfucker graduated from Yale or, was valedictorian in high school. Like, no shit like that. There's a sex worker, as you call them. Prostitutes. Hoes. Continue. Let me switch seats. I need to drink my coffee. The fight for excuse me, I'm ahead of myself. Political representation emerges not as a symbolic gesture, but as a strategic imperative. In my very own home state of Ohio, Vanessa Joy, a transgender state house's candidate disqualification for not using her dead name on the application that did not have a place to write it demonstrates the need for diverse voices in positions of power. The fight for transgender rights is inseparable from the broader struggle for black liberation. By having more individuals from disinvested communities in decision-making roles, we dismantle oppressive systems entrenched in healthcare, housing, employment, and the criminal justice system. This is not a plea for symbolic gestures. It is a call to action because we are being denied our basic human rights and our lives are at stake. The urgency of our presence in political spheres becomes a beacon of resistance against those who seek to silence or erase us. Our intersectional experiences provide invaluable insights into the root causes of inequality, demanding policies that actively dismantle discriminatory structures. A lot of bullshit there. Whole lot of bullshit. Seriously, okay. So, going back, like, it's time to give the middle finger to our oppressors and elect more black trans leaders. What is all of this? Like, this is an opinion piece. It says story by Ellie Moxley. Yeah, okay, yeah, I would agree with that. It is a story. It is damn near fictional. This shit is a narrative. This is at this point, it's just an anthology. All this shit is garbage. So to in the first little stanza, it says Vanessa Joy, a transgender state house candidate, was disqualified for not using her dead name on the application and did not have a place to write it. Demonstrates a need for diverse voices in positions of power. Are you fucking serious? A symbolic gesture. Okay, whatever. A strategic imperative, something you have to do. Okay. So, you're supposed to put your real name on there. And I'm pretty sure it's ways for these trans folk to get their name changed instead of just changing it on a colloquial, conversational level. Like, actually get it changed. You can get it changed. You can get your name changed whether you trans or not. You don't have to be trans to get your name changed. Like, if you just legally change your name, then your dead name can kind of actually be dead. But, like, we're not in this with you. We're not against you. We're simply not fighting the same battle you are. Like, we are not in this. Just because that's your journey and you got to deal with your life on your time. You can't share that portion of it with us. Like, why the fuck do we have to cooperate in the darkest times of your life and for your lack of self-esteem and confidence? Like, why are you demanding I compensate for that? Can I ask for it in return? Like, why must I engage in an interaction solely based on your desire for me to do it in the way it makes you feel? And that does not demonstrate a need for diverse voices in positions of power. Like, what is that? What is diverse voices? What is that? Because she didn't follow policy, now we need different people in there who will let that shit slide, huh? Fuck out of here. The fight for transgender rights is inseparable from the broader struggle for black liberation. What? No, it ain't. You can separate it. Because black liberation was a real thing to want when you are enslaved by someone else. You want to be free. Like, the way black people became free is not the way trans people allegedly became free or were liberated. Just because you can walk out in public dressed as the opposite sex, like, oh my God, so liberating. A little bit, probably. I can see how it's liberating. Matter of fact, I know personally how it's liberating, but it's abhorrent. By having more individuals from disinvested communities in decision-making roles, we dismantle oppressive systems and trips in healthcare, housing, and employment. Bro, this shit sound like bars. This shit sound like this is one whole sentence. By having more individuals from disinvested communities in decision-making roles, we dismantle oppressive systems and trips in healthcare, housing, employment, and the criminal justice system. Like, it's almost got a flow to it, nigga. Almost got a flow. The fight for Trump, man. They need to stop comparing this shit to the black struggle. Like, they need to quit just lumping people into a fight. Like the intersex people. Like, that shit, that ain't them. They ain't that. It's a very rare percentage of the population, and they just got lumped in as fodder for the motherfucking fallacious argument that they have. It's about, like, how there's a third gender. It's like these people literally are adults with the mind of a 5-year-old. Like, you are an adult 5-year-old, if that's possible. We are being denied our basic human rights? What do you mean your basic human rights? If a trans person calls the police on you because you violated their rights or you violated them, actually, not just in some way that they've manufactured, you'll go to jail. Just like if I do it, if I need it and somebody violates me and I address it legally, you go to jail. Or you get tried at least. That shit works for them too. It definitely works for them too. If not, in today's age, quicker and faster than it would for me. The fuck? The urgency of our presence in political spheres becomes a beacon of resistance against those who seek to silence or erase us. Who talks like that? Is this the Hunger Games? The urgency of our presence in political spheres becomes a beacon of resistance against those who seek to silence or erase us. Like, this is like pep talk type shit, you know? This is like rouse the crowd. Continue. Know this. When one historically marginalized community gains power, it influences the possibilities for others. The doors opened for one community create a ripple effect, bringing rights and representation for all. This interconnectedness interconnectedness emphasizes that the liberation of any group is a middle finger to the oppressors. By electing black transgender leaders, we strategically disrupt oppressive systems and create a domino effect of positive change that benefits society as a whole. How? How? The fuck? You cannot just assert that. I challenge that. I don't accept that statement. That was not how it was. This is something new that you're trying to institute. And you're trying to start with the language. Like, you can't just assert that. You have to defend that statement. Electing black transgender individuals into political offices is a strategic move to challenge systems that disproportionately harm our community. It's time to create a political landscape where our voices are not just heard, but actively sought to craft solutions. The right wing's attempts to erase black and transgender people through book bans and censorship highlight the need for our presence in shaping legislation. Because let's face it, the right wing only cares about white, cisgender, wealthy youth. They do not want to see us succeed. Books with LGBTQ subjects are banned. Books empowering black children to love themselves are banned. Those last two statements are just not true. If you have a book in a education system, elementary, junior high, kindergarten, and preschool and shit, if you have books depicting actual photography of gay sex and none containing photography of heterosexual sex, that's inappropriate. That's inappropriate as fuck. It's not debatable. When we say that's inappropriate, it's not like, so what do you guys think, huh? What's your take on it? No, bitch, it's inappropriate. The fuck you mean? And then this whole is a strategic move to challenge systems that disproportionately harm your community. Like what? Like what? Like making you use your legal name even if it's your dead name? Because everybody else got to use a fucking legal name when dealing with the legal system? You legal dumbass. Create a political landscape where voices are not just heard, but sought to actively craft solutions. Why? What are you implying? That there's no landscape where your voices are not just heard? But if your voices are not being heard, do you ever stop and think of why? Is it because you're oppressed? Okay, think of another possible solution, hypothetically. Like, okay, let's say you are oppressed. Is there any other reason it can happen? Or is it 100% because you're oppressed? Is there any other way that we could explain this besides you being oppressed? I would say so. Jesus Christ. I don't. See, the only reason I would continue reading this is because I plan to roundly mock this shit. Mock the fuck out of it. It's not saying anything. Listen to these last 4 little paragraphs. Imagine a political landscape where legislation is crafted with a deep understanding of the struggles faced by black transgender individuals, leading to policies that uplift and empower our communities. That vision is not a distant dream, but a tangible reality we can achieve through unwavering political activism. In the face of anti-trans legislation, recognize that our fight is collective. By electing black transgender individuals into political offices, we strategically challenge oppressive systems and make it clear that we won't be passive recipients of discriminatory policies. This is how we make the government work for everyone. Breaking free of oppression, reshaping the narrative, and leveraging political power are our pathways to a future where justice knows no bounds. This is not a call for more awareness, but a call for action, grounded in the unwavering belief that political representation is a possible pathway to liberation. The intersection of race and gender identity vividly illustrates the ongoing struggle for humanity and fundamental civil rights that persist. The imperative now is to propel black transgender individuals into political offices, effectively challenging the very systems that disproportionately harm our community. All right, so where's the meat in this? The first thing you asked me to do is imagine. You told me to imagine. So, like, what's the purpose to imagine something that I can, like, experience? Like, you know, like, I have to imagine it like, oh, like it's not happening? Like, it's not already happening? Where legislation is crafted with a deep understanding of the struggles faced? Like, what are those struggles? Are those struggles like actual health care or, like, getting a job? Like, all those things that you would be able to do if you know, would just fucking... I guess I back myself into a corner. If you just not be on that shit, just don't be on that shit. You know? I don't think that's... As a matter of fact, no, I don't think that's all just how you... It's emotional blackmail. That's what that is. Policies that uplift and empower our communities. Like, why don't the people uplift and empower the community? The people should do that. Why do you need policies to do that? Why do you need all this government intervention? That's that communist shit. Breaking free of oppression. Like, there are no examples of anything in this article. It's just all narrative. It's story time. Just a series of grammarly well built sentences. It flows. But there's no substance. There's no fucking substance whatsoever. Wake up. This shit is stupid. This shit is wild. These people have gone mad. When you got to use dead naming or not using somebody's dead name as your excuse for quote unquote trans rights, man, good luck with that. Have fun on that adventure. Yo, that's the show. Thanks for listening. I appreciate that shit. Till next time, I'll holla.